research assistant at Columbia University and potentially a doctoral fellow next year at Columbia University in the instructional design and media program. I'm also a Udemy instructor. I'm the CEO of Linguatech. I'm also the founder and chair of the Technology Enhanced Language Learning SIG at NICE TESOL. My research interests are based on technology in the classroom, designing technology-assisted learning and interventions, using conversational agents, chatbots in the ESL Classroom. And I'd like to start my presentation. And my presentation is a type of storytelling. Actually, it's a driven story game. It's called the interactive fiction, something that I practiced with my students. So it's a text-based genre of video games. It's a kind of video games where the players interact primarily with text, but of course there are other games like that I'm going to show you. So the players, they interact with text, but also other times they can also interact with videos in the game and also pictures. There are two types of games in the interactive fiction. So we have what we call the text adventures. I'm going to show you some examples, or we call them also the story-driven games or the parser games. So actually the game, you wouldn't see the story until you interact with the games. And by doing so, the game player becomes the protagonist in the game. They become actual players in the game, characters, and they also control the game actions and see the world through their eyes. Actually, this picture is one of the game engines. It's called Inform 7. And this is actually how the game is manifested. So there are lots of paths and lots of choices for the game players. So why interactive fiction games? Oh my God. Okay. So, so it's motivating and engaging. As you know that many of our students, they don't like they feel that reading sometimes is really a difficult task for them. So by doing interactive fiction games, they read a story, they read a novel, and of course, when teachers start choosing interactive fiction games, they choose it according to the level. There are thousands of interactive fiction games out there where teachers can choose from, and also they align it to the lesson objectives. So it's motivating, it's engaging, it's a creative language learning experience. It integrates all four language skills and many cognitive processes. And because the learners can also watch videos. In terms of classroom activity, sometimes most of the games, they last for 10 minutes. So there will be other classroom activities in which all the four skills can be integrated. The students also learn vocabulary, reading, and culture through contextualized immersive role play. It's fun and challenging. So how interactive fiction games can be integrated into the ESL classroom. So let's say that we have a class like present simple or past tense or more advanced lessons, grammar, reading. We need to understand how to make students understand inference in terms of reading, implied main ideas. So we choose a game that actually has those same skills, and then we do a pre-reading activity where we sort of elicit information from the students. And at the same time, we try to set the scene, activate prior knowledge to the students. And then after that, we ask the students to play the game. And then we're trying to test, maybe we can interfere or intervene, and then try to see whether the students understand the story. Maybe we can do some sort of scaffolding, for example, especially if the students hadn't played the game before. And then after playing the activity, we can do some sort of, you know, like higher order thinking skills, like evaluation, assessing students' understanding, maybe through retelling the story from their own perspective, like what were the choices that you chose in the story and how did it lead you somewhere in the story. So we can do this through classroom discussions, through essay writing, through many things in which we can integrate you know, higher order thinking skills in order to make sure that we cater for the students' needs and also we meet the objectives of the lesson. Okay. So let's look at some examples. So we have Google Text Adventures. It's so easy. You just Google Text Adventures and you press Control-Shift-J and then you are prompted to play Text Adventures. You type yes, and then you start playing. And I'm gonna show you some examples. So this is how it looks like. So it looks from the console, you just type Text Adventures and then Control-Shift-J and then it will prompt you, you write yes, you type yes somewhere here, I think above, and then the students can be prompted to play. But the thing is, text adventures sometimes are really difficult to play. You have to be familiar with the text. I'm going to show you how, but sometimes it's good. This is the interactive fiction database. You will find lots of examples of interactive fiction, and many of them are very famous. They go, the designers actually, they go for innovation competitions. There are other examples. There is an example. I'm going to show you also my game that I created for my students. So the game title is called 905. And for intermediate level, and the time to play is 10 minutes. And this is how it goes. So this is the text adventure. And they put you in the setting. And let's say you are in the bedroom and the phone rings. And so basically, most of the time, you are in a room in the game, and in order to go from one room to another, you click you type south like I did here. This is actually a deliberate mistake. Okay, so I typed south just to show you what's gonna happen. So the game responded to me, you'll have to get out of bed first. Okay, so I put get out of the bed. You get out of bed, the phone rings, pick up the phone. So in the game, actually, this is what the player writes. Pick up the phone is what the player writes. So the interaction with the game is with text adventures is actually through text, through typing. Okay, and then you can see what's going to happen. Sometimes they give you, like they would say, you went into a store, you wanted to buy ice cream, and then they would give you a spoon and the ice cream, and then you would say pick up the spoon first and the ice cream. And there are also more complicated types of texts. So my experience with my students, my game, I've created a number of games, but this is the game that I actually recently had, some interaction with my students. So it's called Places. And actually I used it in order to teach directions. And I used pictures and videos. I teach top-notch. I teach top-notch basics, fundamentals 1 and 2. So sometimes I use the videos top-notch TV in order to integrate it into the games or stories that I create. And it's very simple. It doesn't take much time to create a game. So the design goal is to teach vocabulary skills, giving directions, and the learning theory, metacognitive theory. I just need the students to realize how they can control the game and how they would be more familiar with giving directions. And thinking skills, lower and higher order thinking skills. So they will get the knowledge, they will know, apply, and then they will play the game, they will choose. So it integrates Bloom's taxonomy, whether lower and higher order thinking skills. So the game is a language game that teaches students directions, and the users will read the story. This type of game is actually a game book. So it's different from text or parser games or text adventures. So it's like some sort of a non-linear novel or non-linear stories in which the player clicks on hyperlinks and hypermedia. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna show you. Okay, so there are many engines for creating interactive fiction. This is called Quest. It's so easy. You don't need to know programming. And I'm gonna go ahead and move this to play the game. Okay, so as you can see, I didn't share this game because I'm using some pictures and I'm scared of copyright. So these are actually stuff that I have changed, but I don't know. So these are called places giving directions. So you are in a setting, you are in Manhattan, and actually I made the setting in where I teach. So I teach in Manhattan. So I put the students in a setting in Manhattan, and you arrived early to class, you enjoyed it, you finished your class, and then this picture actually plays a very important role in the game because so you are here, you are in the park, and you're going to cross the street. Okay, the place is here where you want to go to. So what expression you should, or what expression you should choose. So you can either choose it's across from the park, it's on the right side of the street, it's next to the park. So if they chose the right thing, so they wanted to go to McDonald's, it's very simple. I could have put more if then like rules, but I just want it to be very easy for the students, not complicated. So it's across from the park, so they wanted to go to McDonald's, and then what a delight to one's eye and stomach. Now you've reached your destination. And so what did they say? So you should ask some pedestrians. They would say walk half a block, then turn right at the corner, or it's down the street from McDonald's. I didn't read, don't remember. Yeah. So now you are in the you are in the wrong direction actually, because I'm lost where I am. You screamed zombies. I must be dreaming. So so you have to go back and then choose. So it will display the text again, and then walk half a block. Okay, and so this is actually another picture, and then you are given also a situation, and also you have to click on this video in order to watch the video, because it will give you some vocabulary words that would relate to the vocabulary words that you have to use. Okay, so you're gonna watch the video, and that's top-notch TV. Okay, that's associated with a video. Look at these pictures and choose all of the locations that Mr. Evans talked about. So the players would look at the pictures and then choose the locations. Of course, they have to watch the video first, and then they should look at the pictures, and then they would choose it's A, B, and F, it's C, D, and E. Okay, so it's more of an interactive game where the players interact with the text, also pictures, videos, hypermedia and hypertext. And then after that, we start asking the students questions about, what did you get from the game? Was it interesting? Can you tell me what were the situations that you had in the game? Okay, what happened to you when you when you made the wrong choices? So it's more of a building a metacognitive ability in the students to know or to understand their choices. Learning, we can say empath-driven learning, like learning by failure. So I'm failing, and then I have to go back in order to try another choice. So there are lots of things that are going on. You read a story, and at the same time, you can interact with it. Students can also create their own stories, and they can share it with each other, and they can comment on it. The engine is the easiest engine. It's much easier than Twine and Inform 7. It doesn't require natural language processing or Python or whatever. It doesn't require any kind of programming. So this brings the end of my presentation. I don't want to take much time from my colleagues. And I thank everyone. If you have any questions, you can just, hop in or just put your questions on the text box. So the next presenter will be